today's toy spot, we are having a look at the NECA Toys Aliens Power Loader P5000 Deluxe Vehicle. Spot wanted to actually have a look at this earlier, but I had it on a shelf, and I said to myself, I'm going to get down to reviewing this. I'm going to get to reviewing, and I just, for one reason or another, didn't get a chance until now. Now we're going to have a look at the Aliens Power Loader P5000 Deluxe Vehicle from the folks over at NECA Toys. You're not getting an open window in the case of this packaging. No, instead what you're getting is a full sealed box. But on the front of the box has an image there of what the power loader is going to look like. Obviously a big scene that everybody remembers from the Alien movies. The original Aliens was when Ellen Ripley does battle with the very large, very menacing Queen in the power loader. Spin around the side of the box. There's the power loader with the shorter-haired Aliens Ripley, released from NECA Toys. It says down below, power loader accommodates most 6-inch to 7-inch figures sold separately. Then from there, spin around the back of the packaging. Again, this isn't from the movie. That is right there is the figure and the power loader. A read-up says whether you're loading heavy ordnance or fighting a terrifying alien queen, the P5000 powered work loader has the extra muscle you need to get the job done. Now, the iconic exoskeleton used so skillfully by Lieutenant Ellen Ripley can be part of your Aliens toy collection. The Power Loader P5000 Deluxe Vehicle stands at over 11 inches tall and features more than 30 points of articulation, including fully articulated arms and legs, over 20 wires and hoses, working pistons, and exceptional detail. Also includes alternate control holding arms for Ripley figure, sold separately. One thing it also kind of looks like is it lights up. It doesn't actually light up. It's just the way that the picture was used there. And then finally, on the other side, there's the power loader there as well. The Spot's going to take himself a break and get this opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look, finally, at the Aliens Power Loader P5000 Deluxe Vehicle. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Now that we have the impressive power loader out of packaging, let's get a better look at it. There's a little bit of assembly. I'm just going to go ahead and spin around the power loader to the back, and it comes with a couple of these little rods, which initially I didn't know what they were for, but they attach just to the top right there. Take the other one, and there's a little hole right there. If you can see it right there. You can take it and slide it into place. There we go. Other than that, you're ready to go. It does technically come with other accessories too, being which it includes 2 hands for Ripley. I'll show you those in a second when we get Ripley kind of incorporated into this, but in the meantime, let's have a look at the power loader. It is beautiful. It is a stunning looking piece. I've always wanted to get a power loader to accommodate some of the 6-inch NECA figures that we've gotten in the past. Over the short time, we've gotten ourselves new Ripley figures, which we didn't get before because we were always getting like alien figures and stuff like that. But now we finally got ourselves a Ripley, we got ourselves an Aliens Ripley, and of course the more logical step after that was, couldn't we get a power loader? NECA delivers, and NECA delivers in a way I never thought possible. It just turned out really good. I'm surprised, actually, the amount of stuff that they incorporated into the loader itself. Just want to get the roll bar a little forward. There we go. All these extra wires. They've put tons and tons of wires around the roll bar, for example. There's a couple of wires running up the tops. And to the back, tons of pistons. And, of course, the actual tubing that's gonna, I guess that's what's using the compressed air perhaps for the, all the pistons and levers and stuff like that. But it looks very, very good. Very busy on the back, but I mean, that's how it looks in the movie. All the little pistons on its legs. Not only do I like the fact that they have as much detail piston-wise and all the little pulleys and stuff like that to it, but they've dirtied up this thing as well. Realistically, the thing should not be a pristine yellow. NECA, understanding that, even gives us things like scraped away paint, all the little metal that's been exposed on the sides. on the hands itself, or the claws themselves. Also in the legs, you got PWL, of course the hazard striping there on the feet. On the side you got N1725, a couple of little red markers and arrows and stuff like that. It's very spectacular. Now, if you kind of look at outside the scope of the 6-inch figures, because that's, you know, that's their bread and butter, is the 6-inch figures. If you look at all the other stuff that NECA has done, and I'm thinking like the Gremlins figures, you know, they've done the Bat Gremlin, they've done the Spider Gremlin. We've of course gotten the Ed 209 as a notable figure release as well. NECA delivers, I have to admit, when it comes to larger things, larger vehicles. The Alien Queen, of course, another notable release by them. Again, I just love it. I just absolutely love it. I wish it sure could have lit up at the top there but you know, it is still, after all, a toy. It's got this. It feels like this is fabric, but it could be just a very, very thin plastic. I mean, this I would be a little cautious about, that you don't accidentally puncture or this gets pulled away from the roll bar. By the way, speaking of the roll bar, this whole section here can raise. Be careful though when you raise it that it doesn't clip or catch these little side antennas, especially when you get to these little areas here. As you can see, moving this up and down, don't do it quick. Well, I guess you could do it quick, but just be aware that if it catches, it could snap these. But the roll bar moves up, and then you've got your little seating compartment there for Ripley or any of the other Marines. The seat belt here just unfastens, and then you can fit your figure into place. Struts for the feet, the blue strut, I guess, strapping across there. And you've also got your remote, your little joysticks here. These little joysticks slide back and forth on these tracks, to which then you will incorporate the additional hands that they've included for Ripley. Again, I'll show you that in a second. But there is the power loader. Let's have a look at some of the posability for power loader here, and then we'll incorporate Elle and Ripley. So, right off the bat, you've got posability in the arms. The arms hinge forward and back. Not really much, though, or at least not much that I'm noticing. Because really everything you'll notice as you rotate, let me rotate it around, everything you'll see is pulley based or has pistons attaching to it. So noting that, when you move the arm forward, you'll see that the piston on the back raises and lowers. This also, there's a little pivot point on the top here, but again, like not really knowing where everything is connected, don't just quickly move the arms out. No, you really have to know kind of where everything is attaching itself, that you don't accidentally move it too far out or too far forward and you pop or damage something to the joints. So the arms do move forward and back, noting the fact that you have to just be a little more careful with it. There is also elbow posability. I don't really even want to call it elbow posability, but hopefully you know what I mean. This rotates forward and back. As I bang the camera, one of the other things too is that the joysticks do tend to want to pop out. They just simply slide back into the track, no harm, no foul. But the elbow does bend forward and back. A lot more movement and motion, as you can see there with the piston, than on the hinge of the shoulder. Of course, this also does rotate. But be careful, again, I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record, but be careful when you rotate it. Of course, if you rotate it too much, you're going to start wrapping the tubes here to the point where they could break. These do raise and lower just like the movie, although unfortunately, as you can see there, they're a little on the loose side. I will be honest, they are a little on the loose side, but both of them do raise and lower. This one seems like it's a little tighter than the one on the top. On the other side, same idea. These raise and lower. Again, the top feels a little loose. Bottom doesn't feel as loose. I can get a little bit more things staying in place when I'm raising and lowering this. Then as for the legs move forward like that, moves back, It doesn't have a hinge in the leg, although it does look like it wants to hinge at the leg. Maybe it does. Yeah, okay, it does. I was just a little careful. I was thinking to myself, it does look like it hinged, but I didn't want to bend it just in case. But it does have a bend at the knee. And then there's also a mild rock at the leg. But I'm really careful when it comes to the legs because I feel like there's not going to be much give to them. As you can see right there. So there, my friends, is the power loader. Once we've got the legs properly adjusted, it does stand. Standing doesn't seem to be so much of an issue, especially now that I'm able to kind of get the ankles a little bit better situated. But it does stand. Thank goodness for that. Now let's incorporate a figure. Oops, now let's incorporate a figure, not knock it over. We'll bring in Ripley here. Of course, I had to go with Ripley from Aliens as opposed to Alien Ripley. And let's go ahead and just raise the roll bar. Again, being careful of the little side antennas. And we want to take the figure. And you just want to slide it down the seat belt area. Being very, very careful to not damage anything. I feel like, let's see here. Yeah, there we go. I didn't disconnect everything. There you go. Slide her into place. That makes things a lot easier now. Slide her into place. Get her feet into the struts. And then when that's in place, then you can just bring her back, adjust the seat belt, and adjust the front. One thing you'll probably notice when you try to get Ripley kind of situated, or at least I found this, is that the seat belt is very tight. It just barely fits. And through the process, it pulls this one peg out. There's a peg that attaches just to the side here. And then if you can see how everything would come together, these two harnesses would come together, and then this would go over top. Through that, this peg always, I find, pops out on me. That it's just not the easiest to kind of get everything together. If anything, I can usually get one of the harnessed belt clips attached to the shoulder harness, but then everything kind of just wants to pop itself off. As you can see, I can get the one going, but everything gets really tight real fast. You could take the actual ammo harness and stuff off of her, which will add to a little, well, give you a little extra clearance and wiggle room to work with, but that's one thing I've noticed. Going back to the hands that we were talking about before, NECA includes a pair of 2 extra hands suited for holding the joystick. The thing about the hands, though, let me just spin Ripley spin the whole thing actually to the side. You'll see that the hands, even though, yeah, granted it's not the same hand, but it's a different color. That it seems a little jarring, unfortunately, that the coloring isn't, like they couldn't have matched the same coloring between the two. You could still kind of bring these joysticks around. Again, these just slide on the track here. You could kind of makeshift and bend Ripley's arm, just kind of get them situated around here. Unfortunately, though, like everything is there's no luxury in spacing. Everything is very tight, close quarters. Again, you could replace the hands all in their entirety, or you can kind of just have the hands to the sides like that. And you can bring the hands up. Now, one careful thing to worry about, if you're obviously attaching Ripley's hands, make sure that you don't spread or try to move the arms too much, being that their hands are going to be attached to those joysticks. But that's how Ripley looks in the power loader. How about now we do some size comparisons, and let's start from the bottom. There's the power loader compared to a xenomorph egg. Luckily, it's empty, guys. It's not going to spring out and grab you. But there's Ripley with a xenomorph egg. There's what the power loader looks like against an alien warrior from also Aliens. The power loader, a little bit taller. It's by about another half or head taller than the alien warrior. And as I'm sure everybody wants to then see, how does the power loader stack up to the alien queen? Let's see if we can bring the alien queen completely in. I don't have her here with her display stand, so let's see if we can actually get her to stand without the use of that. Kind of just correct the feet here. There we go. And there is what the power loader looks like with the Alien Queen. Alien Queen obviously a lot bigger, but at least, if the very least, Ripley's got some extra muscle if she's going to fight against the Alien Queen. This is a fantastic diorama. This is probably how I'm going to display it. Now that we're finally having a look, took me so long to do it, but now that we're having a look at the power loader, I can finally have it rightfully so displayed next to the Alien Queen. I am very happy with how the power loader turned out. Of course, one problem I knew was going to be an issue was trying to get Ripley strapped in, and I accept the fact that if I take the harness off of Ripley, I could probably do a better job of getting the harness, or if I get the ammo belt off of Ripley, I might be able to get the harness more attached to her. But I knew that that was going to be, if anything, a problem that I was going to face. The hands, well, I'm probably simply not going to have her displayed holding the joysticks, but NECA at least gives you the extra hands to work with if that's a route that you definitely want to go. Alien single, or the first Alien Ripley, I obviously love having that figure displayed just on her own with the torch in hand. But I think when it comes to Aliens Ripley, I immediately think power loader. That's the first thing I think of. So I think when it comes time now to finally displaying her, I'm going to display her situated inside the power loader. It's simply a gorgeous, gorgeous vehicle. Very thankful. Again, virtual hat tipped to NECA Toys. So thankful that they finally released a power loader. And I know finally I got around to reviewing it. It took me a little longer than I was hoping to get it, but finally, you can also say Spot finally did have a look at the Aliens power loader. Today's Toy Spot, we were finally, a lot of finallys in this video, we're finally having a look at the NECA Toys Aliens power loader. Highly recommended if you want to get a perfect display going of Ripley versus the Alien Queen. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.